I'm just gonna go ahead and come out and say it because I don't even really see anyone else seeming to think it, ponder it, or even question it. But who in the hell is gonna be in the WWE games? And so I'm saying this and asking it because 2026 has been an interesting year. We've had a lot of highs, such as the El Grande Americano original versus El Grande Americano match that we just saw this past weekend, and then we've had a lot of lows. WWE released a lot of talent this year. Think about it from this perspective. The Motor City Machine Guns just came to WWE when? The end of 2024, literally the tail end of 2024. They just got released. The MFTs, the group was in existence for what? Maybe 10 months or at most 13 or 14 months. And guess what? JC Mateo released. You don't even have the Gorillas of Destiny anymore because guess what? Tala Tonga, he got released. The whole Wyatt Six, who had one of the craziest debuts of all time, and it was hot. It was a huge angle. Hell, they had them at Halloween Horror Nights. Guess what? They got released. Aleister Black, Zelina Vega, they got released. So many different people who you would have expected to be WWE lifers. Kofi Kingston, literally the New Day, Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods. Although they weren't technically released, they kind of had a whole situation where evidently they re-signed extensions like a year ago, but TKO wanted them to restructure their contracts, and obviously they must have been lowballed or something, because then they just had them cut it all together, and they are no longer in the company, Kofi nor Xavier. And it's just almost outright insane. Even in NXT, Andre Chase got released and a couple of other NXT wrestlers. And I'm really starting to question, man, like, who are we going to see in WWE 2K27, which we already know the game is in development, and we already know a bunch of teams you can go ahead and scratch off of the list of who won't be in the game. Like we just said, the MFTs, the Wyatt Six, MCMG. But guess what? You can also take off DIY because Tommaso Ciampa, he left WWE in January. You can take off the Kabuki Warriors because Kairi Sane got released in the middle of a storyline. So the tag team divisions, they are just automatically screwed and just damn near completely scrapped. The one person who's specifically the reason that I'm making this video is Mick Foley. Because for those of you who don't know, Mick Foley cut our ties with WWE last year, or it was at the very beginning or just early into this year, and he made his AEW debut not this past weekend, but the weekend before at AEW Double or Nothing. And so this is what's kind of interesting. Mick Foley played such a huge role in WWE history, obviously with the Attitude Era, which at this point, let's face it, the WWE game series, they have completely milked this era dry. 2K26 is the Monday Night Wars. 2K16 we had the Stone Cold Showcase. 2K14 we had the history of WrestleMania. WWE 12 we had the whole WCW versus WWE thing. So the Monday Night Wars is an era that they love to go back to. And something that a lot of people have requested is a lot of people want a Ruthless Aggression era showcase mode. Well, here's the problem. Edge and Mick Foley had one of the most iconic matches in WWE history during this era at WrestleMania, and the problem is that both men are in AEW. Now, Edge is the type of person I could see them at some point in time giving him one of those legend deals, even though he's still in AEW, similar to, like how we got Billy Gunn in 2K25 and 2K26. I think Jake the Snake has a similar deal. I think DDP also had one when he was working with AEW. But if Mick just doesn't want anything to do with them, you're never going to see him in a WWE game again. I don't know how many people understand just how much this is really going to limit the possibilities of what you can see in these games. Because what are you going to do stuff? Think about it if you wanted to do a Triple H showcase mode. Whether you really want to admit it or not, one of the most important matches of his career was that Hell in a Cell match. What are you going to do? It's just going to feel awkward for you to leave it out because it's like that was one of the key matches in his career. You have Undertaker, You can't do an Undertaker showcase because guess what? The Mick Foley Undertaker Hell in a Cell match, one of the most iconic matches of all time. What are you gonna do? And then unfortunately, I hate to even be the one to say it, but at some point in this decade, most likely, Randy Orton is probably gonna retire. We know he's towards the end of his career, most likely. And so he's somebody who he's had such an impact on the business. You're gonna have to do a showcase for him because look, we had CM Punk this year. We had John Cena in 23. We had Roman Reigns in 25. Randy Orton, hell, Rey Mysterio in 22. Randy Orton is without a doubt one of the people who deserve the same treatment. And guess what? One of the most pivotal matches into his career early on was against who? Mick Foley. The whole iconic spot with the thumbtacks. You just added thumbtacks into the game this year. Gonna be a hell of a missed opportunity that you won't be able to use them for this. And then also, speaking of the CM Punk showcase, brief spoiler alert, you got a brief moment to skip along, but there's an entire segment when he's talking about dream matches and he's just going on and on about Mick Foley. And then it puts you at a point where who in the hell are we going to put into the game, which is the whole common question. And in the middle of me making this video, patch 1.12 came out and the 2K CEO Zelnick Strauss Zelnick, I really don't care what his name is, he's a playable character. That is just a hell of a lot of things to unpack on its own. But is that what we're going to start seeing? Are we going to start seeing the shareholders, the CEOs? Are we going to see these guys as playable characters? I don't remember if it was 2K23 or 24, but do you remember when Pat McAfee, when he was a DLC character, and his whole ordeal was if you put him into the game, you got to throw his co-host in from his show. Look, I don't give a damn about those dudes. Literally nobody did. I remember everyone was just complaining about it online, and to this day, I don't even remember their names. I think one dude was named like Darius Butler. I genuinely could not remember the rest of the dudes' names, and it was just a total waste of DLC. And I think as well in that game, Sol Ruka was in the files, some of her stuff, and it's like, so that's what we're gonna start seeing. People who should actually be in the game, they won't make it because you're gonna put in the tech guys, which I know you can say, and I know you can say I'm being over dramatic, to which I probably am, but it just still comes back to this idea of if we're starting to lose key people of these key eras, what are we gonna do? I mean, at this point in time, are we gonna start going back to see you remove showcases and you just bring us back original storylines like Road to WrestleMania, which in itself I think would be an interesting idea, because then if you start putting in all of the newer people like in NXT, you could come up with some original stories and ideas which might, hey, benefit them in real life, because now the casual fan will be like, hey, that's the guy from the game, and they might care. But at the end of the day, who knows? It's just gonna pretty much be up to 2K. Maybe I guess WWE will have their own input, but like I said, there is the possibility that we could see Mick do a Legends contract and still be in the game. But considering he doesn't want anything to do with WWE, I just don't really see it being a possibility. Maybe some sort of way he could do a separate deal specifically just with 2K, but again, I don't even think he would do it because WWE will still make money from his likeness technically. Or even then, even if he did, maybe WWE and TKO would be like, no, we don't want him into the game at all. So honestly, who knows? But you know, that's just my whole opinion. That's my thoughts on it. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. What do you think about it? Do you think maybe we'll start to see more of the newer guys? But if it's your first time stopping by the channel, go ahead and super kick that like button. Hit it with a mean super kick. And then I want you to pick up that subscribe button and I want you to slam it into the mat, because we're undefeated. But either way, man, your boy getting ready to sign out. Take it easy.